Welcome to another episode of geekoutdoors.com. On this Davinci Resolve tutorial, there is a huge update that just recently came out, and that is Davinci Resolve 17. It's currently in public beta, and it has a lot of new features, and there's so many things in here that I could actually discuss. But I'm going to really focus on the edit page, because for each one of these different pages that Davinci Resolve has, and especially all the new features that comes with Davinci Resolve 17, that would basically be an entire program in and of itself. And in reality, I only really use the edit page for like 99% of everything that I do. And so let's go ahead and head over here, and I'm going to talk about my top 3 favorite new features in Davinci Resolve 17 for the edit page. So let's go ahead and get into the first one that I think a lot of people will actually appreciate, especially if you have a much slower computer. So one thing that always bothers me is whenever you're adding effects, specifically titles like this with a lot of different effects, it does require rendering. So in this case, it's already been rendered, so the bar is already blue. But if I wanted to do it from the beginning, let's just say I had it right here, you'll notice that it's red right now. And then if I try to play this, it's got to wait until it finishes rendering. And so if you have a really fast computer, then this shouldn't take as long. But if you have a slower computer, this could take a really long time, especially if it has to re-render it every time you try to preview your videos or just scrub through your actual project. And this is an extremely slow process. And if you have a whole bunch of different types of effects, titles, and just compositing, where you're combining all these things together, it could really slow down your entire workflow. And so Davinci has added something that pretty much eliminates most of this, specifically if you have a much slower machine. And so that feature is render in place. So let me show you how that works. So in this case, this has already been rendered out. So what you want to do is you want to add all of these together in one compound clip. So all you have to do is select the effect right here, and then you hold down shift and select your video clip or image clip. So whatever you have, and so this one huge composite file. So now you're going to go ahead and right click on your mouse and then go to new compound clip. So we'll just go ahead and create it. And now it's basically combined all of those things into one. Now what you want to do is you want to actually render in place. So if you notice, it's still rendering it. So that's still pretty slow. So all you have to do is right click on your mouse and you see a new option called render in place. So here you'll be able to create a video that actually has all of this combined, so it doesn't have to re-render it all the time. Now you can choose from a variety of different formats, but at least in the beta version I had problems with MP4, so I'm going to leave it on QuickTime. And then the type I'm going to use is 1080p 36 8-bit, and I'm going to go ahead and render it. And all you have to do is choose the folder where you want to render it in, and then choose select folder, and it's going to go ahead and render this compound clip. And so now what you notice is there's this compound clip 2 up here, and now if you play this, everything's already combined and rendered. And since you did render this as its own video, it is available as a separate video file in that folder that you selected. So you can use this whenever you'd like. And at the same time, say for example you wanted to go back to what you had originally, so you could do that by simply right clicking on the clip and then decompose to original, so it goes back to the original compound clip before it was rendered as a file. And then you could go one step further, go back to decompose in place, and it is separate everything out to what it was at the beginning. So that's really powerful, and it gives you a lot of flexibility. And so that's the first feature that I feel is going to really improve people's workflow. And if you do have a slower machine, this is going to help out a lot. And so the second best feature are updates to the inspector, and also the ability to edit your clips before you bring into your project timeline. So it's kind of like a combination of two things with this inspector update. So the first thing that you'll notice is the inspector has way more options. So before it's primarily just video and audio, but now you have video, audio, effects, there's transition, raw image, and you could also change the file metadata as well directly in the inspector without having to do this in the media page. And so by having it this way, I just think it makes things a lot simpler. It saves you time because you don't have to go to a lot of different windows or different menu options. Everything is already here for you. And then to go along with it, you can now edit original clips and then have those changes before you even bring it into your project timeline. So let me show you an example of that. So let's just say we chose this clip and we haven't brought it down to a project yet. But in this case, you could actually edit things right here. So you could edit it just like you would if you actually brought it into your project timeline, whereas before you couldn't do that. So in this case, I cropped left and right, and I'm going to drag this into project. And now if I actually look at it, the effect's already been applied and it's cropped. And I didn't have to do that only in the project timeline. I actually edit the original file. And at the same time, if you wanted to reset things, you could do that as well. It'll go back to the original dimensions. And there's many other things that you could do with this file, just like you would if you had in your project timeline. And at the same time, you could choose multiple clips and apply those same effects. So this is a really awesome feature and one that I really appreciate that they added. So that's the second top feature with Davinci Resolve 17. For serious YouTubers, check out TubeBuddy, the premier tool news at geekoutdoors.com. Get more done today by checking out the affiliate link in the description area below. And so now the top new feature in Davinci Resolve 17 is one that I did not expect, and it's one that I thought maybe might come later in the future update, but it's a feature that other video editors like Cyberlink PowerDirector has. And so what feature is that? Well, quite simply, it's the ability to preview your effects. And so if you actually go to your effects library, you'll notice something a little bit different. So no matter which one that you choose, whether it's a video transition, audio, titles, generators, you'll notice that there's now a graphical representation of the effect. And this is something that is extremely helpful. But not only that, but you also get a preview as well. So let's just say you went over to this effect, you could now scrub through it. And it shows you how the effect looks like directly on your video. And so this is even better than what other video editors like Cyberlink PowerDirector has, because in this case, the preview is actually being applied to your clips in your project. This is just super awesome in my opinion. And this one feature alone really puts Davinci Resolve above every other video editor. And I know that might seem like a bold statement, but you know, at least for me, this saves me so much time and I don't have to guess as to how things might look like. Because even though you can get used to using the same effects over and over, this just really is going to save you a lot of time. Especially if you're being using brand new effects. And in this case, Davinci Resolve even added new effects that I've not seen before, new titles. This is just a completely awesome new feature that I am so glad that Davinci Resolve has added, because it's going to really help people who are brand new to Davinci Resolve to really get into it a lot quicker and to produce their videos, because Davinci Resolve is a fairly complex video editor and it's going to take a while for a lot of people to figure this out. So in this case, all these additional effects and most importantly the previews just really puts this on a whole nother level, and it is my favorite feature by far, and one that I definitely did not expect. But I am so glad that Blackmagic put it in here. And so that is it for my initial preview, impressions, and my overall top 3 features on the edit page. And obviously there's many other updates in Davinci Resolve 17. And so I might do an update on that as well. So if you've actually had any thoughts on this, be sure to leave that in the comments area below. And if you did want to see more of my Davinci Resolve tutorials and tips, I do have a playlist. I'll leave that in the description area below. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. Hey geeks, if you are a creative geek like me and you wanted to learn how to create content on YouTube and other places on the internet, then check out my Go Content Creators group, where you'll get access to additional videos and content for all the creative geeks out there. And the best part of it is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and sign up for my Go Content Creators group. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side.